Please, now it's the time for our guests, our featured guests today, the Mesa HoHo. How many say HoHoKams and how many say HoHoKams? I asked and they said either way, like tomato, tomato, so they said either one goes. So I'm gonna say HoHoKams because that's how we've been saying it for years, but it's time to welcome our Mesa HoHoKams, which started in 1951. I have to say, I wasn't even born then, but the Mesa HoHoKams were already in operation. Really, they enhanced the experience of spring training here in Mesa, and they do many other community events, but they invest their time and resources for leadership, for youth programs, and help the less fortunate. Please help me welcoming today the former Big Ho, Paul Buser, and the current Big Ho, John Dennett.
Take me out to the ball game, take me out to the crowd, buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Well, it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Perfect. Well done, Scott. All right. All right, welcome to both of you. Thank you. How long have you been HoHoKams? How long have you been?
He's been a lot.
28 years.
28 years. Do you have a business card now? After 28 years, did you get a card?
If I did, I wouldn't give it out.
Oh, okay.
No, I would.
I think I'm up to 16 years.
16 years, yeah. Wonderful. Well, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what the HoHoKams do, that for those who do not know.
Well, at the end of every February until the end of March, the HoHoKams run spring training for both the A's organization and the Cubs organization. And what we do at the ballpark is ushers, 50-50, parking, gate entry, and what both the A's and the Cubs pay us for our service, and then we in turn give that back. But for example, last year the HoHoKams were a part of 37 home games that between the two ballparks. Sometimes it's been up to 40. But we also did like Savannah Bananas this year, which even added to our, manpower, at the ballparks. But since the beginning, the HoHoKams have been a part of every spring training game that has been held in Mesa. In the beginning, I'll let Paul chat about the beginning, but that you mentioned since 1951.
51, wow.
Well, and to follow up on what Chris said, doing it the Mesa way, the HoHoKams, there were 35 gentlemen that were a spin-off of the Mesa Chamber. And they were led by Dwight Patterson, who, looking back, what a visionary, because through his relationship, he was able to convince Mr. Wrigley to take the Cubs, who were on Catalina, and move them to Mesa. And now, when you look at the Cactus League, we're looking at 15 teams, 10 stadium. In this last season, 1.7 million fans came to spring training, and then the economic impact from the 2023 study, $710 million. And here this, generated, Dwight is considered the father of the Cactus League. And looking back to what those guys had envisioned and where we are now, and again, 10 stadiums, 15 teams, it's absolutely amazing how we've grown.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many HoHoKams do you have now?
We have about 150 HoHoKam members, but then we'll have probably another 150 volunteers that people help us out through the season.
Wow.
So it's quite the crew.
For sure.
At every home game, there's probably about 100 to 125 HoHoKams that work different shifts and so on.
And who manages that schedule?
Well, the schedule, I manage the two ballparks, being the Big Ho.
Okay.
But we have just committee chairs that, like Paul is the head of parking, so he manages that. Then we have a gate committee chairperson.
Yeah. Wow.
So on.
You have a plan. That's awesome.
We got a
plan.
plan.
I think you have something big coming up in 2026, a milestone for the HoHoKams?
We do. It's going to be our 75th anniversary as an organization, and we're going to try to make it kind of a year-long celebration. We're going to start with a kickoff at HoHoKam Park in February, but we want to get the participation of like the chamber and the city and downtown Mesa and the different beneficiaries that we've served throughout the years, including, the United Food Bank, and matter of fact, I met you at We Run Mesa with.
Yes. Oh.
So the HoHoKams, what we did for them, it's a woman named Nicole Liba, and
Yes, yes. Oh, yes.
she gives out new sneakers to all these kids,
Right.
and the kids are just overjoyed, and and Nicole has a heart of gold, but just the fact that the HoHoKams can be a part of that, and participate with her. I mean, you were there, and the kids were. This one little kid wanted to give me $1 for the sneakers because he was so excited.
Yeah, and it really does change their lives. Something
does.
like that for these kids that don't have that opportunity. That was really cool to see that.
There's another group called Corbin's Legacy, and they go into schools that are underserved or just have kids that need help, and a lot of kids don't have lunches. So we gave the kids 6 lunches a week, Monday through Friday, plus 1 to bring home on the weekends. And again, it's just the joy in doing that is phenomenal.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what you enjoy about the HoHoKams, but I think that says it all. And
That and these guys in Burgundy. I mean, the camaraderie, the friendships. There's going to be a handful or not a handful. There's 3 that are going to be celebrating 50 years of service as a
wow,
HoHoKam.
wow.
So.
Is anyone in this room?
No, not in this room. George is probably close. Within range.
How many of you, raise your hand if you're a HoHoKam okay,
Yeah.
wow, all right, nice, excellent. You talk about the money that you have for these projects, but I think you're here in part to also share a new way that we can support what you guys are doing, that other people on the outside can help support the HoHoKams.
I mean, as far as you can all support by volunteering. I mean, we're always looking for volunteers, and if you're part of a nonprofit organization, reach out to one of us, and there may be some grant money available for your cause.
Yep.
Anything else?
No. Yeah, we're always looking for volunteers because, again, the different stadiums, we're the only nonprofit in the valley that actually has 2 stadiums. None of the other nonprofits do. So staffing HoHoKam and then staffing Sloan, it gets to be a long day because like the parking lots open at 9, so our parking staffs are there by 8, and then the games could go to 3, 4 in the afternoon. So you're running big staffs for a very long portion of the day. And again, we've been blessed because between our association with the Cubs and with the A's, they've been fantastic to work with us. And again, everything that we can do, or every opportunity that we have, because we did the bananas, and then, we do track meets, we do swim meets. We are now working with Mesa Public Schools with Tommy Eubanks, because we're going to get more involved with all of the high school championships in the city. So now that's a brand new program that we've just taken on. And so being able to do that, and again, generate the income to support all of the people that we want to support is really important. And the city of Mesa they've been great. And all of the volunteers that have helped us, you have no idea how appreciative we are supporting our membership. So again, to that we say thank you.
Yeah, it sounds like you are involved in a lot of different things outside of baseball.
We are. I've always looked at the HoHoKams as a team. There's teams on the field and there's teams outside. And like the chamber is part of the team. The city is part of the team. And we all have a role to fill.
Yeah.
And during a spring training game, the team outside the ballpark is just as important. We work hand in hand with Mesa Police, Road Safe, Pro-Am, and the Cubs. It's just the radios are going back and forth, but they all have to work in unison.
Wow,
it's pretty cool.
That's nice. That's wonderful. You do a lot for the community. How does somebody become a Ho? How do they?
Well, you have to be Exactly.
A HoHoKam.
Exactly.
HoHoKam.
Exactly.
Be careful what you say.
What in the world? What's going on here?
Yeah, just
Come
how
on.
you answer that.
Calm down.
Yeah.
I was just shortening it for time. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
The people, that have a passion for it usually seek one of us out, and then they go through a nomination process and an election. And it took me 3 tries to get into the hose 16 years ago, because you can't. It's just not automatic. You have to go through a process.
Like, what kind? Like, you have to jump over a fence?
No,
or
you
what
don't.
do
You
you
just-
have to do? What process do you have to do to become a HoHoKam?
You just have to know people. You just have to be
Oh,
right.
okay.
And then you have to, as a new member, you have to make an effort to meet the Charlies and the Debs and so
Gotcha.
on.
So the $100 bill in my pocket
That
would make
won't
me.
do it.
Oh, okay, that won't work. Okay, just checking, see what.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's a process. It's not just something that it's a prestigious position to be in for
But
sure.
you do. Every one of these people have a passion.
That's awesome.
And some people they want to get into it to, expand their business or whatever. And this is a service organization, and you're there to work.
That's wonderful. So I think you already said this, but you don't have to be a HoHoKam to help at these events, right? Or do you?
So we have the HoHoKam members.
And then the
are,
non,
Then,
right.
then there's volunteers that handpick 5 to 7 games, per season, and do their shifts. Like Sally is fantastic. She runs 50-50 at HoHoKam Park. So the people who we give money to, she calls on them to help sell the 50-50 to benefit their own
Yeah,
organization.
that's cool. That's
Yeah.
really nice. And then where do people go to learn more about the HoHoKams?
www.hohokams.org.
Okay, that's good. And then I think a big question here that some people here want to know is, tell us about where can you get the HoHoKam beer?
Well, that's going to be a surprise.
Oh, okay.
No, we have a tailgate group called Hoville, and they've raised the bar on tailgating, and it's like, what is Hoville serving today? So what we've done is kind of like spun off a Hoville lager beer that we're going to sell through. We've already had commitments with Bobby Q's and RTO Sullivan's and a handful of other different groups to carry that brand.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it should be fun.
That sounds like.
Yeah.
I think we've learned a lot about the HoHoKams this morning.
Hopefully you learn that we do more than just the spring training.
Right.
Being the title sponsor for the public schools and their sports, every athlete that has gone through Mesa Public Schools will know the HoHoKams when
Yep,
they're done.
that's wonderful.
And hopefully they will come back around.
And then they'll learn to serve too.
Yeah,
I love it.
they wanna
Thank
serve.
you. Please help me thank both Paul and John for coming in today for the HoHoKams. Thank you guys both very much. That was wonderful. Thank you. Paul, thank you so much.